I don't really have much emotion at the moment. It's a pretty flat, pretty poor day. Yeah, pretty rubbish day to be honest. And but I feel okay. I'm just looking forward to tomorrow.
Well, it seems like Lewis Hamilton is one of the hottest topics on the grid without even him knowing it. The 7-time world champion has been related to retirement multiple times this season. That's something that he hasn't addressed up until now. With how the 2021 season ended, many thought that he wouldn't even come back in 2022. And with how the W13 has performed in the current season, lots of experts called for his retirement to save the embarrassment. Still, what Hamilton said about his future is something that will both cheer up and disappoint many F1 fans. So don't go anywhere because we're going to go through this in our video. Now, before we tell you about Hamilton's decision for the future, let's go a bit deeper into the 2022 season and why he was expected to retire at the end of the 2023 season. After the 2021 season ended the way it did, Hamilton was quite disappointed and the team wanted to take the Abu Dhabi GP finish to the High Court. However, they didn't, and they decided that Hamilton will win the 8th record-breaking championship on the track and not outside of it. This is why Hamilton has come back for another season in his 37th year of life. But it seems like the W13, which is the 2022 version of the Mercedes F1 car, hasn't actually helped Hamilton a single bit when it comes to pure performance. Up until the Singapore GP, Hamilton has had a roller coaster season, and the Singapore GP was just the final nail in the coffin when it comes to the 2022 season.
Hamilton, frustrated behind Carlos Sainz, has gone straight on and has hit the barrier down at turn 7. Norris and Verstappen coming to the scene of the accidents. Hamilton rejoins the track, Norris goes through, Hamilton rejoins the race ahead of Max Verstappen.
With Ricciardo being mentioned as a replacement in 2024 for Hamilton, with the 7-time world champion retiring at the end of the 2023 season. Many believe that this is something that will definitely happen, and Hamilton could very well be retiring since his contract does end in 2023. The fact that Hamilton has said that he doesn't plan to race in his 40s and plans to do much more interesting things than being in the sport as a primary driver only adds to the narrative that we're closer to seeing retire than we may realise. Wolff also said on multiple occasions that he doesn't believe Hamilton will come back for the 2022 season. But after Hamilton did come and the season went the way it did for Mercedes, the speculations and rumours about his retirement have started to intensify. Ricciardo was asked about his future from 2023 and beyond, and what he had to say was surely both worrying and satisfying for Mercedes fans. But quickly before we move on, we've partnered with the official F1 store to bring the best Formula 1 merch and accessories out there. So check out the first link down below and you might even get yourself a juicy discount. But now, what did Ricciardo actually say? Well, he said that currently the most realistic option for him is to either join a top performing team like Mercedes as a reserve driver in 2023 or join a backmarker team and still be an F1 in 2023. But if he decides to join Mercedes as a reserve driver, it will likely be because he believes Hamilton will retire at the end of the 2023 season, something that the Briton himself has addressed with Wolff recently. Of course, plan A would be to be on the grid, but nothing's changed. Let's say I don't want to just jump at the first seat available. I know the landscape probably changes as well at the end of next year with contracts and whatever, so I don't want to say remaining patient, but just remaining open. My management team is talking with, I want to say pretty much everyone, or they're having conversations, so we're just trying to put it all together and figure out what makes the most sense. I also don't want to just look at the next 12 months and not look at the next 24. Said Ricciardo, who also spoke about the reserve role and having a seat towards the back of the grid. A reserve role is something that's realistic, yeah, that's the two I would say realistic options. It's not to be anywhere else. I love other disciplines of motorsport, but I don't see myself there. At least I feel as though I jump into something like that and then it closes the door in F1. It kind of feels like I checked out and I haven't. So I'm solely focused on F1 and we'll see. Said Ricciardo, who also spoke about his commitment to a backmarker team, adding, I mean, it's possible. These are all things I'm weighing up. What fighting at the front does, when you've had that taste as well, it's real, you know, and that's ultimately where I want to be. So I guess I don't want to just go from race to race. I want to race with a true belief and understanding that I can be back on the podium ultimately. With next year, if I'm not to be racing in F1, then I feel there could be a blessing in all that. I mean, it could make me freaking start foaming at the mouth wanting to get back. So that's why I'm pumped up to be on the grid again, but I'm also seeing positives if that's not the case. So that's why I'm at peace with whatever's going to happen in 23, because I feel like everything is going to happen for a reason and all these things will make sense. Having a few weeks off was good to get some headspace, clarity, all those things, finished Ricciardo. But what does this have to do with Hamilton? Well, the Briton has spoken about his well-being in the previous period, as he said that he feels in the best form he is currently and he doesn't plan on stopping anywhere soon. Elaborating, "For me, I feel healthier than I've ever felt, I'm feeling fit, I love what I'm doing and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. My goal is always to be with Mercedes. I signed with them in 1997. I love that we have the long partnership we have. I feel like we're embarking on a lot of really positive things, not only in the sport but outside, and I think there's a lot to accomplish together. I want to be a part of that." But what's even more interesting, and was the main point of our video, is that Hamilton spoke about his future yet again with Toto Wolff, as the Austrian had an extensive interview in which he shared information about Hamilton staying in the team for 5 more years. When talking about the current situation, Wolff said, "The advantage is we speak a lot together. Just last week we sat down and he said, 'Look, I have another 5 years in me. How do you see that? Over time we've just grown together. We're totally transparent with each other. Lewis will be the first one to say, I can't do this anymore because I feel I haven't got the reactions anymore, or I've just lost fun doing it and there's another generation growing up that is just very strong.' So I have no doubt that whenever we agree on a contract extension, which is going to happen, that we both are always going to discuss very openly what does the future hold." Now, Hamilton spoke earlier this season that he would rather be doing something else than racing when he's past 40, but according to Wolff, this might not see the daylight, and we may see more of Hamilton on track when he is past 40 years old. I don't know if 40 is that age where you say that is not adequate anymore for a racing driver. If you look at where Fernando is with 41 years, he's still very much there. Now, is he the same Fernando that he was at 25? I don't know, but he's still very competitive still. So Lewis, with the way he leads his life, with a full ultra-narrow focus on his Formula 1 racing, all the others are just hobbies. I think he can take it quite far, said Wolff. Therefore, the fact that Ricciardo was seen leaving Mercedes' garage on Saturday may not mean as much as everybody initially thought, as Hamilton doesn't plan to go anywhere in the near future. This is something that was also emphasised by Mark Webber, who is currently Piastri's manager, saying that he spoke to Ricciardo and he has no idea where he'll go in the future, adding, "I had a good chat with him last night. I still don't think he's sure. A Merc reserve driver role? Who knows how long Lewis is going to go on for. Merc, a pretty handy operation, so it's something you might consider." So, what do you think is next for the Briton? Do you think that it's just a matter of time before he'll announce that he'll stay for a couple more seasons with Mercedes, doing what Schumacher was doing when the team was at its lowest point in 2010? Let us know in the comments below.